D&D presents the No BS Show. With your hosts, Chris Mize and Doug Dock. It's the No BS Show. Take it away, guys.
Sorry, man. I can't. That was good. That was a good one. I'm like, oh, poof. And then all of a sudden, here comes John. I like that one. First off, I want to thank all our veterans out there. Hope you had a good holiday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year coming up. Thought you guys couldn't do these shows. Want to thank our military serving overseas in homeland, protecting our freedoms that we got. Want to thank firefighters, EMS, policemen, doctors, and nurses, especially Doug. It's flaring up on them. That mandate, and they thought they were being a badass here a couple months ago, and you're either going to get it or be jobless. They're kind of going back on that, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot.
And then I want to thank tow truck drivers. So, real quick, I forgot to tell you about this. There's such a shortage of nurses, and they fucked with these nurses over the last 5-6 months, hasn't it, man? I'm not going to name names, but I know a nurse that was called in. She works part-time at Firelands in RN. She's called in to work 11 to 7, and guess how much they're paying her to work that shift to come in and work?
What's that?
$1,200.
Holy cow.
Dude, I'd be going, I'll work I'll double,
Right.
But I feel sorry, I feel sorry for the nurses. Listen, everybody out there, never once do we say the virus wasn't real. Our debate is over the jab on choice, Doug. That was our debate. Numbers are flaring out of control. The hospitals, Firelands, I know, is packed up, but we're going to get into the numbers here in a little bit in this show later on, I'm sure, because, we've went over some stuff and it's a bullshit. They quit testing in some areas, Doug. Unless you're going to get admitted, they just go off the symptom bullshit right now.
Perfect.
Because, yeah.
We're doing really good.
Oh, you got a runny nose? That's a statistic, yes.
I didn't until I jabbed myself.
Yeah. You got a fever? So everybody knows Doug's a little under the weather.
So I did take a COVID test. So your chance to win a pizza tonight is
how many people are watching?
Whether 13.
All right.
Whether it's a positive, negative, or inconclusive, those are the three chances you have. Hashtag, and then positive. And don't go by looks.
If you think Doug's test come back positive, put hashtag positive. If you think it come back negative, put hashtag negative. If you think it come back inconclusive, which means he don't know shit, he don't know no more than what he knew before he took it, that he's hurting, then you put hashtag inconclusive.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, we'll take whichever one it was, and you people will be in a drawing for a large pizza, 2-liter Pepsi product, and that'll be it.
Big D's Pizza in Clyde,
Big D's Pizza, Dean Henry. I want to shout out to Dean. He's been great all year. He watched their show. I'm pretty sure he's watching now. Not only good food, Doug, he's a good dude. I mean, if you're a racetrack people and you're anywhere around the Clyde area, you need to support this guy. He's got good food, great food, but he's so great to race in that. I mean, not just anybody either, Doug. He spreads it all over. I mean, it's great over at Hammer Down Racing Report that Thursday nights that we watch a lot. We're on quite a bit, but I want to thank Dean for what he's done all year, and I hope he had a good Christmas and hope he has a good New Year.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, man! You're gonna get me hungry again. There you go. Don't touch it. That stuff looks good.
I want to try some of that.
I'm sure you don't want to try it right now. See, that looks good there.
All right.
Good food.
Good food.
Thanks, Dean. Okay, Matthew says, hey, we got a hashtag inconclusive, hashtag negative. All right, we're going to give you till the end of the show to do that.
Yep. That's the big reveal coming up.
Big reveal. If you want in on large pizza, 2-liter Big D's pizza, hashtag negative if you think Doug's test was negative, hashtag positive if you think it was positive, hashtag inconclusive if you think it was inconclusive. And then at the end, whoever put it in will put the people that was right in that drawing and move forward.
And don't go by looks.
Yeah. It
I
feels like shit. But here's the problem, people. We'll start getting in the show, but here's the problem. Here's the issue. It is the flu season too. You know what I'm saying, Doug? It is the flu season. It is the bronchitis season. It is the pneumonia season. And it's awful funny now that we've run out of tests and everything else. And if you got symptoms, you could have pneumonia, bronchitis, or the flu and have every freaking symptom there is of COVID. Oh, you're positive. And what did CDC come out with today, Doug?
Well, wait a minute. And this isn't a clue on me, but you can have pneumonia with COVID. You can have both.
Yeah.
So they now say 5 days of quarantine if you test positive from the time that you test positive.
No, is it time you test positive? Or?
Yeah, let me pull that up.
So all this, here was the problem I had. We talked about it, I believe, last week. Some counties 14 days, some 10, some from the time you got symptoms, some from the time you tested positive. We had guys like Joe, I know, and I'm sure there's other ones on there, sat out for 10 days from work, this, that, and the other. Now they went to 5 days.
Okay, and it does say the clock starts the day you test positive. An infected person should go into isolation for 5 days instead of the previously recommended 10. At the end of 5 days, if you have no symptoms, you can return to normal activities, but must wear a mask everywhere, even at home around others.
For 5 more days. For 5 more days.
For 5 more days.
Now, I understand the quarantine. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I get it. And it's, you need to. But are they all going to get their shit together? Because you can't, in every county is different. There's no protocol for this. There's no state protocol. Well, maybe there will be now that Biden turned it all on the states today. Bob Neubauer.
Yeah, there's Bob.
Glad you're out. I hope your wife gets better. Bob spent a little bit of time. They're calling it COVID. Yep. Bob got out today, I believe, didn't he, Doug? Got to go home today. He was in the hospital 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it, Bob, till I seen it on Facebook.
Yeah, and Facebook. That's how we get our news.
So, yeah, I believe it or not, I haven't been scrolling through much in the last few days, and I come across Bob. So, but the thing of it is this. Now they're saying that the tests are getting low. Unless they're going to admit you and this, that, and the other, the tests are getting low.
An idiot.
So
it's not even part
of that. Yeah, tell me. But Doug, if you go in the hospital, and here's the other thing: you took a test at home.
Yes,
and that's hashtag tonight positive, hashtag negative, or inconclusive. You took a test at home. Now, what if you test positive?
I would call everyone I know.
No, but seriously, how
Correct.
did they,
You're correct. Not
were they
seriously.
coming up with these fucking numbers?
So day before yesterday it was 21,000, and I'm
That
gonna
was yesterday.
yesterday. So I would say another, let's say 500 to 1,000 people tested yesterday. Went and
I'm
bought a
gonna
kit,
say,
like
I'm
I
gonna
did.
say there's another 4,000 to 5,000 on top of that number.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. That's what I feel. There's
That
the
is
kit.
that's not my test yet.
No, but that's what you show, and
Yeah.
that's like Kevin. So everybody knows Kevin's getting over COVID. We watch him be calling my phone.
Again?
Son of a bitch! I don't want you to tell nobody. But
Again,
you know, Kevin showed me a picture of his test just like that. Had the blue line, but it had a real faint line underneath it, and it says faint or not. It
Yeah.
could be dark or faint.
Yep.
You're positive. So,
Yep.
but here's my question. That's not reported.
Kevin, did you report it to everyone you know?
Well, he
and
went to the hospital at night.
Oh, so you are a number.
So
You're a
he is a
statistic.
number now.
You're one of those.
He's a number. But if he wouldn't have, he wouldn't have been. So I'm going to say, and y'all can call me fucking goofy. I am, but I'm going to say there's 4,000 more on top of that number yesterday, minimum. The number, probably true numbers, 25,000. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, you are a statistic now. I don't know. I don't know that anybody knows what they're
Anybody want my opinion? I'll give it to you.
doing. No.
You don't want it? I'll give you my opinion. You want to know when this shit's going to settle down?
Nobody said yes.
I don't care. You want to know when this shit's going to settle down?
Tell us, Chris.
When we all get it and get through it, then it's going to settle down. Herd immunity.
Did you read that thing I sent you yesterday?
Probably not. I had my family Christmas.
Yesterday wasn't Christmas.
It was my Christmas.
Oh. You should have told me.
You want me? I invited you up, but
I didn't know if I had COVID or not.
Yeah. We're going to have a COVID party. No, I did not read it. So if you want to explain it to me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go to I really want you to read it first before we talk about it. We'll talk about it next week. But this clergy guy, he sends a letter to the Americans or posts this thing to Dear Americans, and he goes through a bunch of stuff. I wish you would have read it, but I said when I sent it to you, keep Bilderberg Group in the back of your mind.
Fucking yeah.
And he talks about this in depth, and he's touched on a lot of things that we have talked about, and we're on the right page. So with him, at least.
You know,
What is that, Propel?
Yeah. I bought them for your ass, but you never took them to the track. So now I got to drink them. They're outdated now.
Outdated water.
So watch, I'll get sick. I don't know if they're outdated, but you know, Kevin went and got the steroid shot. He said it made him feel quite a bit better that night. And Z-Pack, I mean, Pfizer and I believe Pfizer and what's the other? I don't know if Moderna or Pfizer and someone else come out with a pill that the FDA's going through now that you're supposed to take an early treatment.
Right.
Lord forbid we take ivermectin or anything, Doug. I mean, you know, but you know, Pfizer's come out with the pill now, and so someone else. But you know, here's the thing: Omicron, they say, Doug, we've talked about this. Omicron, they say, mild symptoms, you're going to get this, that, and the other. Well, here's the thing, Doug. Everybody's fucking different. You know what everybody's body's different. You got different immune systems. You know, your immune system might be higher than the other person, this, that, or the other. Everybody's different. How can they tell Here's the 2 weeks ago we had one reported case of Omicron in California. And out of the 21,000, they're saying 15,000 of them or more was Omicron. How the fuck do they know? You know what I'm saying? How do they know? The test just tests for COVID-19. It doesn't test for Alpha. It doesn't test for Delta. It doesn't test for Omicron. It doesn't test. It just tests positive, negative for COVID. But you explained how they determine.
Yeah, it's through. Let me go back to it.
I mean, what 2 weeks ago, one confirmed case in California. Now look.
Yeah, it's genome sequencing. That's how they figure it out. It has to go to a lab and be broken down to see which variant you have.
So they're doing that with every test.
I can't think that they could.
Doing that with every test. See how much that costs? You know. But you know what? It's all on here. It's all on the state now. It's all on the state. You know. Yeah, right. We're hoping for not a freezing 55 and sunny Saturday, Julie.
Yeah, anything after Saturday, we'll be okay with that.
I don't care. But did anybody catch that? It's all on the state now.
Yeah, he the president kind of gave up and left the ship.
You know what? I don't have a plan B, and it's out of control.
He actually kind of said it that way because the government doesn't have a plan,
a solution.
A solution for this. I'm going to Delaware, and you guys
going to Delaware again.
Handle it.
Here's my question. In the beginning of this, Trump fought. Remember this, Doug? Trump fought and said, listen to Congress and all them left side. It's a state. Let the state handle things the way the state wants to handle them. He was the Antichrist, going to let everybody die. Remember that? He was terrible, handling it all wrong, this, that, and the other. And now, and you know, he went to his place in Florida quite a bit.
They're slowing.
How many
Chris
times
down.
is fucking Biden? Oh, or are they really? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You fact checking assholes, fact check me on this. How many times has Biden went to Delaware since he's been in? Every time he turn around, he's going. Nobody's saying a word about it, Doug. He literally says today, in layman's terms, listen, I don't have a plan B. We're kind of screwed. Going to have to write it out. So federal government's going to back out of this. You states handle it on your own. Oh, by the way, all the money that we had set aside for this is gone. So it's on you too. Gets on a chopper and leaves, and nobody's screaming. The media's not saying a goddamn thing.
Let me see Kevin, do you have this card so that you can get your free pizza?
Free pizza.
Make sure you get your Pfizer loyalty card.
Hey, listen. Once again, I'm vaccinated. Doug's not. It's your choice. I believe in choice.
I guess I should be, huh?
I believe in a choice. It's up to you personally. I mean, but the thing of it is it's scary that we got a president that just comes on and says that. Well, I don't know what to do. I'm going to Delaware to the beach. I'll see you.
You're right. If that was Trump, he would have been crucified for that.
How many governors just got screwed over?
Well, let me talk about our governor since we're on that. Our local news station is doing a one-on-one with him, and today was the first part. I only want to read you two questions he asked and two answers. And the first one was, at the beginning of this, you received a lot of praise at the beginning of the pandemic. As it sits, Ohio's the 10th in total deaths. Are you satisfied with how the state has dealt with COVID so far? And his answer was, and listen to this, our goal was to really get people vaccinated, make that available to be, make that avail be to everyone. We first started off a year ago going right to the nursing homes, blah, blah, blah. And he says, we can't force anybody to take the vaccination. That's an individual choice. Now, this is from the governor tonight on TV. That's what he said. And then the second question was,
You know what that is? Hold on. You know what that is? We can't force anybody. That's their choice. So vote for me. I know I'm a fucking idiot, but vote for me.
right. I know we're making you. We have a governor.
I know about
Yes,
bankrupted the state.
I forgot it's Governor Keebler Elf.
Keebler Elf.
The second question, and he never answers this. Senate Bill 22 stripped you of some of your power when it came to the pandemic response and health orders. How big of a hindrance has that been? I think at this point in the pandemic, I'm not aware of any state that's compelling people to get a vaccine. They've now been available almost a year for many and 7 or 8 months for others. The focus has to be on people making their own decisions about this. I don't think we should be imposing any mandates. We've got a large number of Ohioans who are pretty darn safe because they've had the vaccine and the booster. The booster is very important.
We're not compelling it. I'll give you $100 if you get shot. We're going to have a lottery.
Wait. He did. Yeah. The Vax lottery. What was it called?
I don't know. It's called our tax money going out the tubes.
Yeah,
then you got people, that was pandemic money given to him by the federal to use for pandemic situations. So that was, he took what, Doug? What do we, 7.5 million?
Yeah, it was something crazy.
And put it in a lottery instead of all the businesses that were suffering. You know, how many restaurants, you know, instead of doing that, but Lord forbid the bars and restaurants, that's the only place COVID spread, according to DeWine. Remember, he was hard on them.
Well, in both of these, he says he's not compelling mandates or the vaccine, and he never answered how big of a hindrance that's been.
A hindrance. I know what a hindrance it was. He was bitter.
Yeah,
and they stripped him. He was bitter.
Yeah,
but people, listen to me. Don't let him lie to you. He can shut the state down for 14 days, Doug. Anything over 14 days has got to have that committee approval with bipartisan Senate and Congress committee. So he can shut it down 14 days.
Right. Now, he was also asked, you've been pro-vaccine the entire time. Red counties tend to have a lower vaccination rate. Of course, many of those people voted for you. What can be done party-wise to encourage it? He doesn't talk about that. He talks about the fact that most of the vaccinated people are in urban areas, and the rural areas is where most of the death rate is in the unvaccinated.
Cleveland got less death rate than the farmlands, huh?
Then
He's so full of shit. He's so full of shit. He's another one. He's probably going up to meet Biden in Delaware right after that conference.
No doubt.
Listen, he's a lying little prick because he was trying to mandate it, Doug. He was doing everything he could. And you're right, Mark. That money come from federal tax money. When they voted that all in, it's federal taxes that paid all that money. So, you know, they've yes, he is. I get tired of hearing that too out of them. But he squandered away a lot of money that small businesses needed, Doug.
Don't forget about what we talked about last week.
What?
That he is going to veto a bill that prohibits employers from
Yeah,
testing their
employees.
employees. So
Which in turn will go back into the Senate will override it. And come
right,
back.
right. But what he's saying is, if you don't allow them to, like the government wants us to, then I'm going to veto it. But here he's telling us that he's not in agreement.
He's not. Yeah, he's not in agreement. That's what I mean. They forget what they say. Now, moving on to the federal government, Doug. So now we know the most powerful man in the United States right now is Senator Manchin out of West Virginia.
Right. President Manchin.
He's got the power, man. But
Yeah.
is anybody paying attention to what the left side administration reverted back to and is going to go after? They're going to hijack getting the voter registration, the voter law, and Biden himself said it. They're all saying, we're bringing the voter bill back in, and we're going to try to push that voter bill through. Why? You know why. Midterms come. November's not that far away. Trust me. If it goes anything like this year went, it's going to be here just like that. So they're trying to fast track this now because they didn't get the Build Back Better. Pay attention, people. Start calling your congressmen and your senators again. This can't go through. It's terrible. You know.
Okay, and here's what I think is another terrible thing. If you're a renter or a leaser, your landlord can mandate the vaccine. The only exception is mid-lease, or if you're on month-to-month, yes. If you're on a lease, it would have to be at the end of the lease or the beginning of the lease.
To renew the lease.
Yes.
That's crack shit. And he's okay with that. DeWine's okay with that too.
Oh yeah,
But I'm not trying to push it.
This is national. This is national.
Oh, this is national. Oh, wow.
Yeah, your landlord can require you to get a COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, but once again, what's this all mean with the mandate that Biden's trying to push, and what's it all mean when he turned around today and says on each individual state? So does that mean his deal's off the table and each state mandates what they want?
It almost sounds like
I'm just
that.
asking for a friend that asked me.
Right. Well,
I mean,
we'll have to.
What? And Pepper Patty's going to come on tomorrow and say, "Well, no, she got caught in so many lies last week." You see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Peter ripped her band.
Yes. And when they were talking about the testing of people, she made an offhanded comment to his question and said, well, what do you expect? You think that we should just send a test kit to every household? Well, you sure do send text or tax things to us and all this other crap that we don't want. Why not send that too?
Yeah, I think they should.
It's your U.S. Postal Service, so it should be free to you to do.
I don't see no problem with that. Do you?
No, I don't. That way you can take it. If you're positive, you keep your household together and wait it out the 5 days from the day you test.
I mean,
then you're all better.
Greg hit it right on head. You send U.S. ballots.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's the same thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's they don't know. At the end of the day, they don't. Biden's campaign promise. Remember one of his campaign promises? I'm going to end this.
Right.
And what? You're fucking Superman. You're going to end a virus that just mutates and mutates. The only way It's never going to end. For everybody out there, until you realize that we will live with COVID-19, we'll have, before I die, I'll probably see the 50th variant, Doug. It's just going to keep mutating. I mean, I hope I get to see the 50th, but you know, the problem is this: until herd immunity and our immunities, natural immunity, as Tammy said, is built up, you know, that's how we got to cope with it. Just like influenza, Doug. Get a flu shot. Get a flu shot. Well, I got the influenza B flu shot. Well, shit, you got A. You know, and then you got this part of it. You got this part of it. It just keeps mutating. You know, and until everybody gets immunity and the antibodies, I mean, unfortunately, I'm being honest. My opinion, until 80 to 90% of Americans have caught COVID-19, we're going to be. You can have vaccinated. You can be vaccinated, boosters, and everything. It doesn't mean you can't catch it or spread it until you catch it. And you're vaccinated or what, not vaccinated, until you catch it and you catch it, until you build your own immunities up and antibodies, Doug, that we're not, you know, that's when it'll slow down. It'll be like a common cold. And if you look at some of the things that were said beginning of summer, Fox 8, I think, had that deal. I mean, you were talking about it offline, but in 3 to 4 years from now, this is just going to be like a common cold.
Right.
The problem we got is fear mongering. You unvaccinated, it's going to be a dark winter full of death for you and your family. I'm getting on my plane now to Delaware. Bye.
Since you didn't get to read it, I have to read it because it makes so much sense in everything that we're talking about. And everybody that's been with us for any time, we talk about the Bilderberg Group, and this is I'll try to do I think the first paragraph, which is a very long one, kind of sums it up. But he says, "Dear American people, dear friends, for the last 2 years now, a global coup has been carried out all over the world, planned for some time by an elite group of conspirators enslaved to the interest of international high finance. The coup was made possible by an emergency pandemic that is based on the premise of a virus that has a mortality rate almost analogous to that of any other seasonal flu virus."
Oh, yeah, he better run the banner.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's why we're freezing up.
And by the way, it'll say don't put hashtag Merry Christmas in there. It still says that. Let me take that out so we don't have people confused.
So Doug gets this done. So in order to win the pizza tonight, you got to put hashtag positive if you think Doug was positive, hashtag negative if you think he's negative, or hashtag inconclusive if you think it was inconclusive. Whatever it was, at the end, we'll take them people and put them in a drawing. Now watch, we'll get nailed by YouTube because we're making light of COVID-19.
Okay, I'm just reading.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else does he say? We all know how much the mainstream media has contributed to supporting the insane pandemic narrative, the interests that are at stake, and the goals of these groups of power, reducing the world population. Remember, I said
by 2 to 3 billion.
Right. Making those who survive chronically ill and imposing forms of control that violate the fundamental rights and natural liberties of citizens. And yet, 2 years after this grotesque farce started, which has claimed more victims than a war and destroyed the social fabric, national economies, and the very foundation of the rule of law, nothing has changed in the policies of the nations and their response to this so-called pandemic.
That's an archbishop in a Catholic church?
Yes.
Oh boy.
There he goes.
You never hear from him again.
I'll put this link in there so that you can read it. But if you look at the Bilderberg Group and what they were formed for, they were to form one
world order,
one global government, one
global money,
and their laws in that would be global.
And Bob, the good news is I lost 14 pounds.
You know what? I can use that. I can. That's a plus for me.
So we've talked since we've done this show over a year now. We started last November, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
October, November. We've talked time and time again about the Bilderberg Group. And you don't believe us. Go research it. We've said that a million times, ain't we, Doug?
Yeah.
Don't take our word for it. Go look it up and research it.
Yeah. Anything that we say, we do have something that we can point to. We're just not like just saying stuff.
Yeah.
Like TV does.
Yeah.
We have something that we can at least point to and say this is where we got it from.
And if you look at the members, go look it up and go look at the members. There's 2 members on that group that you should be scared to death of being on that group. And their last name ends with Gates. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
Yeah, Melinda something. We don't know what her name's going to be.
Yeah, whatever her name's going to be. But if you can remember, Bill Gates pushed for years. You know, what is there, 7.2 billion people on Earth, Doug? Something like that.
Yeah.
And Bill Gates pushed for years that we shouldn't be over 5 billion, I think was his magic number. And if you can remember, 10 months ago, Bill Gates, the idiot that said cow shit was causing all, can you remember that? Cow shit was causing all kinds of bad things to the atmosphere, and we should go with synthetic beef, and he wanted to get rid of the cows. So he started, if you watch and you research it, he started buying a lot of farmland, Doug. Farmlands.
Right.
Then in Sweden, I don't know if you remember this, in Sweden, he wanted to do a test where he can go up in a plane, put something across the air, and block out the sun rays. And almost got to do it. But he didn't. And Sweden finally said, no, you're not. And that was the end of that. No other country is going to let him do it, or experiment with it. If he doesn't, Chinese do. Chinese own Smithfield Meats. They own a bunch of other things. But research the Bilderberg Group. That's what you need to do, is research the Bilderberg Group. It's scary. I'm not really a big conspiracy theory guy. I think COVID-19 is real. Was it man-made or not? I got my theories on what it was, but, here nor there, I don't think any of us in our lifetime will ever find out. Maybe in about 60, 80 years from now, it might come out. But
right. And my test was made in the U.S.
It's made in the USA?
Yeah. So don't worry that it might have been a Chinese test.
But, please research the Bilderberg Group. And some of this shit that we've been talking about for a year sure is making sense now, ain't it, Doug?
It is. And to that guy who used to be clergy.
Yeah, to the guy that you probably never see anymore. But he's going to probably met his maker already, But, if you just go back and look at everything that's taken place. Now, once again, we've said it a million times. COVID-19 is real. Man-made or not, it's real. It'll reach out and get you. There's people on here that have had it, It'll reach out and get you. But do your research on everything that's going on. Then everybody's on that chip kick again with the vaccine. Oh, it's got a chip in it. Well, now Fauci let the cat out of the bag, last week? He says you can get a chip in it that all they got to do is scan you at the hospital, and it has all your medical information, and it'll be able to tell if you have COVID or not with the scanner. And,
He said that.
that come out. You go research that, people, on Facebook, on YouTube. I didn't say it. That quack that you call a doctor that makes more money than any other politician in the United States said it. Yes, they're looking at putting a chip that'll have your medical information. I've seen this a while back too, but your medical information, and it'll be a chip that can read. All they got to do is scan it, and it has all. Chris Mize, diabetic, and then positive or negative for COVID. And now I don't want to hear, I told you they're going to have a chip. I told you, they're trying to track us. They're trying to track us. I don't know how many of you assholes walk out the door and forget this little thing right here. Yeah. And run back in the house and throw it in the car because you can't go 10 feet without it. They're tracking your ass. They're listening to you. Have a conversation. Do this. I can't remember one of the people watched did it. Have a conversation. Call your friend up. Have a conversation about F-150 trucks or Chevy Silverados or a bathtub or anything, and talk about it for a little bit. And then get on your Facebook a couple hours later. Mm-hmm. And there's ads flashing up, man. F-150, this different tub ads, different this, different that. And you don't think they ain't listening? They're listening to everything through your phone. We already told you. And when you got an Alexa in your house, yeah, your neighbor's picking up on it.
Yes.
So I don't, that's funny. That's funny, Joe, because I'm a registered Democrat.
Still.
Columbus sent me a text about me running for an office. And I had joked around. I had spare time. It was actually right after I got out of the hospital. I text back, said, I'd love to run for office. What do you got? And now they won't leave me alone. Texting me every day, 2-3 times. We want to sit down and talk to you. I don't think you really want to talk to me about running. Yes, we would. Oh, okay.
How did that start?
I just got a text out of the blue.
And they want you just to run for office. They don't
know
nothing about you.
Are you interested in running for a local, this, that? No. Yes, I'm interested.
That sounds like a scam.
Biggest mistake I ever made, because now they want to sit down and talk to me. Sit down and talk to me.
I would do it. I'd like to see their faces when you start telling them what you think.
Oh, yeah. You sure you want me running for fucking office, motherfucker?
Right. No. I was told today, and you'll be all right. You need 911. I do have an Alexa, and I was hoping that it could call 911 yesterday. I have to look that up and see if it can do that.
Did you try it?
No, I didn't try it.
Try it. Maybe I'll go. Maybe when I'm home alone, the kids ain't around or not, and grandbabies. Alexa, call 911. Bam, bam, bam.
All right. Hello.
Please. Can we help you? No, I just testing the system.
I was talking to somebody earlier, and the local hospital, and I don't want to give up too much information because it's medical, so I can't give up too much information.
Oh, Lord forbid, they're watching.
That hospital, somebody in that hospital said that everybody who's on a ventilator in this hospital here, which it's not a huge hospital, it's just a city hospital with less than 10,000 people or 20,000 people. Everybody that's on a ventilator has not been received a vaccination. Everybody that's on a ventilator never comes off the ventilator.
That's not true, though.
No, in this hospital, it is true.
Oh, in that hospital. Well, did they ever think they were doing something wrong?
Well, you know what?
We know Mike Mazzagatti, a few other people come off it, and they're don't get me wrong, they got a long rehab, but I mean,
in this area, and this is an older population down here, including myself.
Listen, it's we all are conditioned right now. Everybody watching. I don't know if Kevin's watching anymore. He ain't commenting, so I doubt it. But me and him have had this talk. Me and you have had this talk. Oh, so and so's in the hospital. Oh, no shit. How they doing? Well, here, good examples. Dave Nestor. Man, they put him up in ICU. He's in ICU. If they got to keep. He doesn't come down on the oxygen. He's going on a ventilator. What's the first thing we all say? Fuck. Are you kidding? He's going on a vent.
Right.
That
Right.
ain't good.
Right.
Because somewhere down the line, they got to figure out a different way. Because the ventilator, there's people make it off. Don't get me wrong. There's
Right.
people that do come off it. Man, when you get the vent, you get to the point where they start putting a vent on you. Your odds are
very, very. They're minimalized considerably.
They're slim. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that. And then when you're in a local hospital that is in a trauma center or anything like that, I kind of agree with this. They don't know how to use those ventilators correctly, and I mean they know how to use them. They just, I'm sure there's more to it than putting somebody on it.
Well, I believe they were putting too much air to them in the beginning. Is what the problem was. I think I read that somewhere that they were. Who knows? I'm not a doctor or a scientist, or but I know when you get that vent put on you, your odds go way down.
Right.
So I mean, and my doctor, I got fired. I tell you that my doctor fired me.
The recent
my family doctor.
Because you don't listen.
I'm non-compliant.
You're non-compliant.
Non-compliant. But I told him one time. Everybody stop and think about this. You go to a family practice. You go to a family doctor. It's family practice. There's a key word there, Doug. And my doctor didn't like it when I told him. They call it a practice for a reason. And he looked at me and I says, "You practice on us. That's all you guys do is practice on us. There ain't, strep throat, Doug. Strep throat, bronchitis, the flu, different illnesses like that. There's not one person out there that goes to a doctor that invented the cure for it. He's going off of what other people said. Well, if this don't work, well, let's try this. How many times have you heard a fucking doctor say that, Doug? Let's try this. Let's try this medication. Yeah, it wasn't until I started getting pissed off. It was over that urinary tract infection I had, Doug. That's when I got kind of mean. That I was like, "What do you mean? Let's try? What do you know? What the hell I got? Do you? I mean, so
yeah.
Let me tell you something. I get sick. I get bad with this. I catch it and get bad. She's got instructions inside. I'm going to take me to Cleveland. There's Arabs flying from Saudi Arabia and all over to go to Cleveland to get shit done. What's that tell you?
I use the VA, and I can tell you that I might as well just take care of myself because
do you think you need this?
Right, exactly. Remember, I told you some of the horror stories I got.
Yeah. Do you think you need this?
My doctor called me and she goes, I don't even know why I'm calling. Do you know why I'm calling you? I go, I don't know. I thought it was a joke at first. And she goes, really? I'm not sure why I'm calling you. I go, test results? Oh, yeah. Let me look. Yeah. Test results. Okay. Everything looks good. And she did the same thing. Well, do you think we should try this? Sure, whatever.
Yeah, but what kind of doctor says that? Now, don't get me wrong. There's good doctors. I tell you what, the doctor that just pretty much saved my ass last week. I've got nothing but good to say about him in a way. Boom, boom, boom. He was, down to earth, didn't talk down to you, whatever. He was a good doctor, but I'm leaving a tag on my toe. But there's some out there. How the hell did they get their license?
I don't know. A lot of stuff you can mail in now and do online.
Yeah, but it's scary.
It is. It is.
You know, you get COVID-19. They, doc, I got COVID, I think. Well, what's your symptoms? You call in, what's your symptoms? This, okay, yep, you got COVID. If it gets any worse, you didn't, you do virtual shit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? How? I don't get it. I don't get it. Whatever.
So,
what happened to penicillin? Doug, what happened to penicillin?
Right. That used to be the cure all.
Doc, I got a headache. Bend over.
Right.
Doc, I got the clap. Bend over.
I've got COVID. Bend over.
Bend over. But
so Governor Keebler has been busy over the last week, and he signed a couple bills. One which benefits everybody here. It's not going to happen until 2023. Is the new betting law that's coming out that you'll be able to wager anywhere you want now online.
really?
And yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't. Go ahead.
All right, I wanted to read that too. He also signed into law, and it actually states here that he ease the staffing shortages in restaurants. The minimum age for waiters and waitresses providing alcoholic drinks is lowered from 19 to 18.
I don't have a problem with that. I got a problem.
I don't
with what
either.
Tommy said, though. Tommy, that's what I mean. Run. Go to a diabetic doctor.
Right.
I mean, no, we're going to go what they say out there. They ain't there to look at it, treating it. Yeah, that's a fucking joke. I'm sorry.
And this is for Sandusky. They approved rules to create a designated outdoor refreshment area that covers much of downtown, allowing people to drink outdoors without having to sit in a bar or bar premises. And then on that, he went from 150 acres to 320 acres.
For what?
You can walk around with a beer in your hand in Sandusky.
Where the hell was that law 30 years ago for me?
Well, maybe you can ask for that to be
20 years ago,
expunged from your record.
Yeah, no shit. I go in front of judge. Hey, they changed the law. Can you take that shit off my?
Now, they also allow Ohioans who make their own beer and wine to serve it to friends on private property without having to obtain a liquor license.
That's moonshining.
Not anymore. So Dustin can.
Dustin, you're all good.
You can bring us some alcohol every Saturday night.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's on private property. So,
where they're going to allow to bet though? I mean, we can set up gambling joint right at the track.
Yes.
Kevin got off too quick.
Yeah.
Are you serious? We can bet at the track.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Just remember, I'm the race director. I can.
The bill legalizes sports betting both in brick and mortar physical locations and on the internet, and includes mobile apps. And the one that will kind of control it is the Ohio Casino Control Commission and the Ohio Lottery Commission.
So we just become a Nevada.
Yeah, pretty much.
What else did he pass? Did he sign the gun bill yet? Boy, I tell you what, people, I've been pissed off ever since last week. You know, I hate to say this. He needs to veto that bill, send it back, and it has to be in the bill that they have to notify a policeman if they walk up and you have a gun in a car?
Well, the guy to contact would be your representative.
I wished him a Merry Christmas.
Well, you
I
didn't
didn't
go far
wanna-
enough.
I know it's Christmas Day, Merry Christmas. Oh, thanks, Chris. Hey, asshole. We need to.
Right. We got an issue here. We need to bring him on at some point and kind of.
Yeah, because I want to know what the thinking was. Because I honestly believe this puts our police in jeopardy.
And
it's bad enough, Doug. It's bad enough for all our policemen now. Our police women.
Right.
Yeah, police person. The politically correct way to say it. Police officer.
And there may be a good reason for it, but I don't know what it would be.
I don't see what good reason it'd ever be that you're putting everybody in a. I don't get it. I'd like to know what it is, because if I'm a cop and Tommy's married to Jim, who retired police officer all them years in Mansfield. Thank you, Jim, for your service. If you're watching, you got out at the right time. Trust me. But I can't imagine being a spouse, Debbie being a cop, or or vice versa. I can't imagine being a spouse and not think of that. I wonder if my husband will come home or my wife will come home tonight, because,
right.
And then next thing on national news, well, he shot this person. Well, yeah, he had a gun in the car and he didn't notify him.
Right.
Pretty soon, a policeman's going to be able to walk up to the car and go, "Did you rob that store?" "Nope." "Okay, go ahead." I mean, what else? What other alternatives are you giving our law enforcement right now? They can't do their jobs as it is, because everybody's got them on a camera, and Lord forbid if they say the wrong thing or somebody feels like they're picking on them, Doug. But yet we still haven't seen anything about the Reyes situation in Mansfield. That's not national media. But
That's
Lord
done.
forbid it was another direction. We'd have everybody there marching.
Rios is done.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? We need to get him on here, and I'd like to ask
Who?
that question. DJ.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Rios.
No,
Not getting him on.
I got a Ouija board. But all right, Doug. I'm
All
sorry.
right. So, this is kind of what we're saying.
Yeah, here's another question. What if you have a pistol that isn't registered in your name? Because when you buy it, it registers to your name. Where do you go with that one?
Well, I guess if you don't use it for anything but protection, and you don't use it, it's not going to be any issue. But the day you use it, it's going to come back to somebody.
If a police officer pulls you over, I can't believe, God, I'm on the side of the cops. If a police officer pulls you over and there's a gun in there and it's legal, but he's got to take the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it does. I know. But they got to take the numbers on that gun if they find a weapon, even if it, right?
Right.
See, I can't carry anything yet. Now I got to go buy. Mr. Mize, it says you have a 9mm register. What's this 45 and this and that? Oh shit! Sorry, sir. That guy wasn't a registered gun dealer on Lorraine Avenue in Cleveland. I'm sorry. All right, I know you got something about schools.
You know what? I was just going to say, I thought we were going to make it a week without something happening in a school.
Hell
Guess
no.
what? It actually, we were going to do the show yesterday, and it was Sunday morning. Actually, it was like 1-2 o'clock in the morning while I was fighting off a fever. This came across, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I got a video to go with it too. I think we should play the video first.
Oh boy.
You got to listen very carefully to what this parent is saying to the school board members. And let me bring up this. Well,
They never cease to amaze us on the schools anymore.
You'll no, and this one here will really get you going. And so hopefully your glue is still okay.
The upper one isn't, but okay.
No, you don't have to register to carry.
Yeah, no, she's talking. The gun doesn't have to be registered in your name. So if you got a gun and I'm carrying it, that's fine. Which I don't know how much I agree with that, but it is what it is.
We'll get our state representative on. Just tell him we need about 10 minutes of his time.
Mark, where you at? Mark Fakita.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of Mark Pukita, who's running for U.S. Senate for Ohio, since he turned in his financial information, now he's considered a minor candidate for Senate. And like he says, it's all about the money. It's whatever the money is.
Yep.
That's how they determine it. All right. So there's two people that'll be sitting at the table facing away from everybody. Those are the two teachers that are involved. And then the school board sitting facing. Okay. Just want to give you an update. And here we go.
Let these teachers come in and act as if they have nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. A mistake? How long of a mistake? How many mistakes are we going to take before my child almost lost her life? They didn't tell me that my child was suicidal. You allowed these teachers to open their classrooms teaching predatory information to a young child, a mindful child that doesn't even know how to comprehend it all. How do you not know what was going on your own campuses? Did you think that no parent would ever come forward? You will not quiet me today. I will stand here today and protect my child along with every other child who has not come forward yet. Do they have psychiatry degrees that I was unaware of? Because I didn't hire them. Okay, I did not hire them to sit there and nitpick my child's brain. You took away my ability to parent my child, even before I had any knowledge. I didn't even get to show support. You asked for support, I didn't get a chance. You planted seeds, Ms. Caldera and Ms. Baraki, Mr. Baraki and you, Ms. Pagarin. Your job was to educate my child in math, science, English, etc. Do your job and let me do mine. They assumed that my child needed your aid and resources. They pushed it in the face. And tonight, I will stick up for her. Ms. Caldera, you're guilty. Ms. Baraki, you're guilty. You changed her personal documentation, her gender, her name, her email. I authorized an AKA added to her attendance because I wanted to be supportive. But guess what? She's allergic to bees. Her medical record says a birth name, and you changed it. Who administers that now? Not everything, not me. You guys did this on your own accountability, and you've gone too far. They downgraded me in front of my child and allowed me to question myself as a mother. You sat there and told me how my child was going to be. And then you wrapped your hands around her while I sat across the table and cried. Because you thought you could be there better than I, and I never got a chance. She was scared to even say anything. Your guys' voice were heard, not hers.
So I'm assuming that the child wanted to be transgender.
She just had a conversation with her mom that she felt that she was bisexual. Okay. So what occurred? Let me get it right here.
Unfucking believable. This and them two teachers just sit there like
nothing is going on.
Off, lady.
They created a group at the school, and they invited her into that group. And her mom was being supportive by saying she also likes to be known by,
Whatever.
whatever.
Jim, Bob, Joe.
They changed her school records and changed the, all this other stuff. And she says that she was allergic to bees and all that.
Yeah, it's
Her
awful.
name doesn't match up now, so they can't administer anything to her.
No, because it doesn't say all her allergies and all her medical.
Correct. So,
They should be fired.
well, what they did, let me go back up here, because it's they told the girl to hide this from her mother, that she was involved in this group.
See, this is so wrong. This is, and listen, this is a reoccurring thing that we're seeing in our school systems. Not in Ohio, not here, across the United States. And if we really, Doug, if you really researched and had time and just researched, I can guarantee you we'd probably find about 10 other cases like this.
It's every week we have something on here like this. Now, following the meeting that they had,
Yeah.
this is exactly what occurred.
Yeah.
Following that meeting that she's talking about, where she sat across from her daughter and the teachers were patting the girl on the back, saying it's going to be okay, they turned her into Child Protective Services.
For what reason?
Because she was accused of being not being emotionally supportive of her child.
Who the fuck gives it? Listen, who was the child fed?
I don't know.
Was
I'm sure that's what they went into.
I mean, is the child abused? The mother said she wanted it, whatever. But the thing of it is who the problem we have right now is our teachers think that they're not just teachers. They're the parents, and think that they will make the best decisions for what that kid is. And they don't give a shit what the parents, they want it to where parents have no say.
Now, Children's Services or Protective Services, they showed up at her house, and instead of investigating this and talking to the children and talking to the mom and figuring out what's going on, they come in and they ask the children if they wanted to be removed from the home.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I can. So let me tell you what the school says on this, and then we'll talk. The statement was made in response to this article, and any future student clubs will be required to submit an online of all activities and materials before being allowed to meet. Student sign-in sheets will be maintained, and parent guardian permission slips will be sent home prior to a club holding a meeting. I applaud that. What they told this girl was that you don't have to sign up for this, because that way, if somebody says, "Are you in there?" we can just say, "Oh, we've seen her, in here occasionally."
And do they still got jobs?
I
mean,
it doesn't really.
Yeah, it is, Lori. It's here's the question, Lori. You bring up a good point, but here's the question, Doug. The question I have, just on Lori's comment: what if she gets stung? She has no medical record, and she is severely in the hospital. Worst case scenario, dies. Who's liable? Are any of the teachers looking at who's liable? It's not their right. And for Children's Services, walk right by the mother and say, "Do you want to be removed?" What the fuck? They ought to hang that person's ass too. This is how easy it's getting to be, Doug, where the schools are getting control. We've talked about it for weeks. They're going way out of it's overreach and its highest, and they're trying to take all control from the parents. And it just every week, there's something new. And you only go through a little bit. Could you imagine if you researched it for 8 hours one day? I bet you we'd find 10 cases of shit like this, minimum, in the United States. Notice I say
Yes.
it's he.
So I'll give you a personal example of how Children's Protective Services works. And their whole job is to try to mitigate issues and keep a family unit together.
Right.
And if they find that can't be done, you want to get them to a relative that's distant enough to take charge of the issue. So I was working for a Christian-based youth organization, and there was a kid who was 12 or 13 years old, and I had my office, and outside my office was kind of like a play area. And anyhow, this kid was in there, and he had these two dolls, and there was a dollhouse in there, and he kept putting one at the top of the steps, and then he would have one walking up steps, and he would kick the other one down. And I go, "What are you doing?" "Nothing, playing." And I just watched him for a little bit, and I'm like, the things that were going on was just pure domestic violence in this playland. So I said, "Hey, come here a minute." And I put a piece of paper there. I said, "Draw your family." And he drew the dad, mom, two sisters, and him. And the mom's crying, the dad is mad, and the kids are all sad. I'm like, okay. So I called Children's Services in, and I said, hey, there's a problem here with this kid. And so they look at it, and she looks at me and she goes, "Well, you're not a psychologist." And I go, I know for a
That's
fact.
why I called you, asshole.
Right. Exactly. That's what I said. That's why you're here. "Well, you shouldn't be doing this." I go, "There's an issue there that needs to be taken care of." And she goes, "Well, if somebody calls us and there's an issue, we'll take care of it, but you can't be doing this stuff."
Okay.
That's kind of what I said. All right. Well, what happened was, and it was long after that ever occurred, was I made a connection with somebody that used to work with me a long time ago there. And we were talking, and she had one of the daughters who was older teenagers, 16, 17 years old. And she goes, "Doug." And I said, "Wait a minute, I know that name." And she goes, "Yeah, you do." Because that family ended up in court because the father was molesting the children and having them have sex with each other. And your name was all over that case, and that you had reported it not once, but twice, which I did. And they did nothing about it. Not one thing. They were more upset because you had them do that.
Right.
Right.
But yet they'll walk right by the mom on something like this.
Right. Right.
Is anybody out there, just yes or no on the comments, had Children's Services involved in their life? Boy, I have.
And once they're in there, they don't go away.
Oh, they lock right down on you.
Yeah.
And it was bullshit. And I ended up in court, and I mean, they all got in trouble. Believe it or not, I did. I'm sitting there fighting, mad as hell, and all of a sudden, I looked at my attorney and go, "What just happened?" Write it on the paper, because Lord forbid. And he put in big letters, "You just won." And I tell you what, I'll name her. I don't give a shit. That lady, I hope they stripped her. I hope I'd like to know if she died, where she buried at, so I'd go piss on her grave. Frederica Colesmith was her name at Firelands Mental Health Counseling. She said a bunch of shit. We walked into court and she never followed through with shit. I mean, this cost me thousands of dollars, Doug. Children's services up my ass, everything, just for it all to be one big lie. And let me tell you what, when it was all done with, Doug, I still had children's service involved in my life.
Yeah, and one of the things about it is they act like they have some sort of godly like something or other about them.
Yeah.
They can't enter your house without a warrant. You have to
Yes.
let them in, and they take full advantage of that.
Yes.
And
Go through every room. I've been there. Listen, I didn't get my kid. I picked him up Friday night, took him home Sunday night. They knock on your door on Wednesday. You know, they knock on my door on Wednesday. Knock, knock, knock. Open the door. There they are. We're doing a home check. Have you been drinking, Mr. Myers? Yeah, I'm drunk as fuck, lady. I don't have my son till Friday. It's Wednesday. You know what I mean, Doug?
right.
And let me tell you something. My mind doesn't think right still to this day because of it. Because you better have food in the house. You better have milk in it. It doesn't matter that you ain't got them right then and there. Or they come Monday after you turn, you know, in 2 weeks. You better have bread, milk, food, this, that. And they drill you. Go through the whole house. And there ain't a goddamn thing you can do. Nothing. You know, and I can tell you the day they left my life, oh man, you talk about a relief, because I was doing nothing wrong. But my ex got them involved, and I warned her, don't get these people involved. And then she couldn't get rid of them either. And that was always the thing. Well, I said, you want children? I don't care. I'll play this game, you know, all the time if you want. They go to your house too. That'd be the end of it. You know, they'd show up on a Saturday when I had my son. You know, they'd show up, knock, bam, bam, bam. You got to open the door and let them in. If you don't let them in, I guarantee you, within 5 to 10 minutes, that cop will bust your door down.
Yes.
They don't need a warrant. Children's service don't need a warrant.
Now, when working with the sheriff, the county sheriff, who's still a county sheriff today, so it's been by 25 years ago, 30 years ago, he called me out to some place out in the woods because they didn't have food, and we had a food pantry and all this other stuff. But one of the things that he said to me, he goes, other than physical or sexual abuse of a child, there's really no reason that you should take them out of a house unless there's no water. He said, if there's no water, they come out of the house immediately, which this family did not have running water. So they were taken out immediately. Food you can take care of, you know, emotional support you can do, you know, all that kind of stuff you can take care of. But even if you take them out of the house, they should be put in a relative's care. And they don't even do that anymore. They just house them.
You take a situation of what we just watched, that's no reason to call. No, they're not. Tammy's been, she's fostered. You know what I mean? But they had no reason to walk by that woman and ask them that question. None at all. I mean, the school is responsible. If that girl has any mental, you know, damage because of this, it's because of the school.
Well,
why is the children's services going to them teachers? My question. Saying, hey,
and yeah, that's where they should be going, not to the.
What are you doing to these other kids?
What I cut that off prior to it, but another guy gets up there and he goes, not only should you teachers be sued, but this whole school board should be sued. The school board should not be in control of this investigation. because
No.
you're just as guilty as the teachers, because you have no idea what's going on in the school system.
And we've been over this many times. It goes from principal, superintendent, school board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, I don't buy the theory. And here, I don't buy the theory that, well, we didn't know. Well, then you don't know what's going on in our schools.
Right.
Because if the
Right.
principal doesn't know, and here's where it starts, in my opinion. One, the guidance counselors, they still have them now, don't they? Guidance counselors, principal should know what's going on with this kind of situation, especially if you have a group, support group. A guidance counselor should be involved in that. The principal should know what's going on. The principal should report it to superintendent, which in turn he should report to the school board. There's a failure somewhere unless the principal and them are supporting this activity.
Right.
So the first thing, principals should be fired. If there's guidance counselors, they should be fired. And when they say, well, he didn't know. Well, you know what? He's fired because he's incompetent and didn't know what was going on in the school. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Doug. And this is just one more example of how fucked up our school systems are in the United States. It's called control. Don't tell your mom. We know what's best for you. Your parents don't. They don't have any clue. Listen, have you ever seen a 16, 17-year-old kid lie to their parents?
No.
Huh? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, have you ever seen they don't know what they're telling their parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It all comes down, just like I said, people. This all gonna it all goes hand in hand with this voter bill. You don't think it don't? You don't think it don't? 16 and above can vote. You don't think this ain't all hand in hand with control of your kids? You bumped your heads. You slip somewhere from watching this show, going taking a piss or get something to drink, and bumped your head if you don't think that it don't. I'm trying not to get wound up. Epstein, yeah, he hung himself with the Hillary Clinton sheet.
Right.
All right, Doug, you're researching something.
No. I'm done.
Huh?
I'm done. We got to give away a pizza, yeah.
Okay. Give you 2 more minutes. If you think Doug tested positive, put hashtag positive. If you think Doug tested negative, put hashtag negative. If you think Doug tested inconclusive, put hashtag inconclusive. If you ain't already yet, how many people do we even get count?
Yeah.
So we'll get back off schools and everything, go back to the beginning of this show. They're passing out all these tests, this, that, and the other. So you take a home test. It don't get reported. So we know there's many more cases, what have you. Now, they guarantee these home tests you take are pretty accurate. Isn't that what they tell you, Doug? They're pretty accurate, this, that, and the other, all the happy bullshit.
Right.
The answer to the question is, Doug?
I'll show you the answer to the question.
2 of them. 2 tests.
2 tests, and they both came back
Inconclusive.
inconclusive.
2 tests.
So Mark is our winner, Mark Gaynock.
Mark's the only one that said inconclusive.
Yeah.
So how can that be, people? 2 tests.
Yeah.
He's got some of the symptoms. Fever real bad, chills, his whole body hurts, his joints hurt.
Well, Tammy, the little test kit here said that you just leave it in this thing for 10 minutes or more, which it's been in there since 4 o'clock today, and it will let you know.
The rebuttal to Tammy's answer, or what she just said, is then it should show negative.
It should show something.
It should show negative. Now, here's my question. So Mark won the pizza?
Yeah, Mark, get a hold of Dean and
Get a hold of Big D's Facebook page. Congratulations, Mark. I don't know if he's still on or not.
yeah, and let's see, where's it at? The expiration date
The expiration date
is December or October 20th of 2023.
So here's my question. You know they got some tests in the hospitals that are going inconclusive.
That's funny.
But he's got a common cold. How would you know? Sending pictures back 75 degrees in Daytona.
Right. Right. Don't exist at all there, does it?
Yeah, what do you mean? It got down to 48 last night. How's my car hurts on? But but here's the question. If you're at the hospital, you know some of these tests are showing. What do they do? Does anybody address that? What do they do? What are they doing?
Well, I was going to contact our local health department and ask a couple different questions to them. I
You
will
better
try
dial *67 before you do that.
yeah, but I do want to ask those questions.
You know, but and Debbie just stepped out. She heard that. I guarantee you they go positive.
Was there a round of applause?
I guarantee you they go positive in the hospital. Like she said, I guarantee you they'll go positive because you have symptoms. There's no such thing as a cold. There's no such thing as a flu. Like Robbie said, for 2 years, no such thing as bronchitis. There's no such thing as pneumonia. You might have pneumonia, but you got COVID with pneumonia. You got COVID.
Exactly.
You got COVID.
COVID pneumonia, which is what Bob had.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, COVID pneumonia, COVID this, COVID that. I mean, it's there's no such thing as you know, here, look at the CDC. If you don't believe me, go to the CDC and bring up COVID deaths. Doug, you've seen it. We've done it. COVID, heart attack, COVID related. Boom. Stroke, COVID related. Boom. You know, influenza, COVID related. Then you get down to actual COVID deaths. Now, I'm not saying COVID ain't going to take you out, because if you got heart conditions, it's going to screw your world up. But if you get down to actual COVID deaths, go read the chart. Don't take my word for it. Robbie's getting ready to go back to Facebook jail. I know he's going to say something.
Right.
Yeah, right, Joe. But you know, the thing of it is that money's gone now, Joe. That money's gone. It's over. You know, so all of a sudden you watch. You're going to start seeing the flu come back and pneumonia and that, because the money's gone. Joe Biden said that today, right, Doug? The money's gone. States are on their own. You know, you're on your own. Money's out. So now you're going to start seeing flu and everything else come back. You know, it's whatever. Well, I don't want to keep Doug on here. Well, we've been on an hour and a half. Yeah, but you if you're watching the beginning of the show, in order for them to determine what variant it is, they got to send it off to the lab. So they're making a guess by symptoms on if you got the Omicron variant or if you got the Delta variant or the Alpha variant.
Because they say the
Omicron.
they're the
Symptoms are mild.
symptoms are really mild. So if you just come in, like if I would have came in with a fever and not feeling good, I would probably be an Omicron candidate.
But you can't base it off. Everybody reacts different. Oh man, he's on a roll tonight. All right, Lori, thanks for watching. Happy New Year. But you can't base it off that because everybody reacts different. There's people caught the Alpha and Delta and never phasing for a couple days and they were fine. So was the Omicron back then. You know, we had one case. I'll say this again, Lori. We had one case confirmed 2 weeks ago. One case in the United States and California. Now in Ohio, they're saying yesterday's numbers is 21,900, 20,900, 21,000. They're saying 15 to 16,000. That was Omicron. How the hell do they know?
Right.
Off symptoms? Some people got the Delta variant. Doug, and all they did was lost taste.
So Chris gave me good news at the beginning of the show. I think prior to the show, said that, well, you know, you get the fever, that's how it kind of starts, and then a couple days you'll lose taste, and so I could have it. It's just not fully developed yet.
So, Doug, you ain't got the virus till you lose taste, which probably tomorrow, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be Saturday morning at about 6 a.m. Oh, I lost taste. Ain't coming.
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
I can do whatever you need me to do from the house.
We covered that, Tom. How the hell do they do that? You know, but you go back, but you got to wear masks for 5 days, and you know it's same thing as what CDC. They're so fucked up, they don't know what they're doing. I have no faith in the CDC or Fauci. Remember, 6 feet, and then when they're getting ready to go back to school, well, 3 feet's okay.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
we know the schools are crowded.
Next week they'll change it and say, "Oh, it's 3 days."
And they have groups.
Yeah, in 2 weeks they'll come back and say it's 10 days. You know, and it depends on what county you're in Ohio. Some's 10 days from the time you got tested. Some's 10 days from the time you showed symptoms, like Huron County is. Others is 14 days. Nobody has a set protocol in a state or federal, Doug. You know, it's Dr. Fauci's job. You know.
Yeah, I'll try to get our health director on.
See, Joe, my work's back to 14 days.
Yeah, and that's kind of another question I want to ask them. Can people make up their own? Yeah. As long as it's not less than what the CDC says.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because that's wrong. That's wrong. If the CDC is saying 10 days, your employer's putting you out of work for 14. That's not right.
It all comes back to that bill last February. They can do whatever the hell they want.
That's true.
You know, Tommy, you know, our boss would keep us out 14 days, right? You're in a machine by yourself. I don't care. You got COVID.
Nobody's going to be around you.
Just don't talk to nobody. Drive to the machine. They ain't going to be around you. They ain't catching it through the CB, asshole. You know, but all right, people. Congratulations, Mark. Thanks, Dean Henry. Appreciate it. Next time we come on, it'll be 2022. Remember this. Friday night, please don't drink and drive. I mean, a taxi costs $10, Uber $20. It'd be the best $20 that you ever spent in your life.
And a lot of places will do it for free.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you go out, be careful. It is going around bad. You know, whatever, but have fun. You know, I'm not saying don't hide in your house. I ain't saying that at all, but you know, just be aware.
And Chris will see you all on Saturday.
2022, January 1st, hangover race in Dust Speedway. Gates open at 10, hot laps at 12, racing at 2. Pretty good time.
Yeah, no scoring involved.
Pretty good time.
Just need to know the winner, right?
That's it. Shout out to a couple places here. Hammer Down Racing Report on Thursday nights at 7.
Mhm.
This Thursday will be the best of the year. They do that every year. We're their best.
Are we on
episode.
there?
I don't know. I was on it
No.
one. You remember about hand jobs? That's a whole nother story. But
You left everybody hanging there.
Ohio Wheelman Series, I believe they're tomorrow night. They do it every other week on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. Then you have Shady Bull Speedway, 8 o'clock, right after Hammer Down Racing Report on Thursday nights.
You're forgetting one.
Who?
Us.
Oh, yeah. Sandusky Speedway will be on tomorrow night, 7:30. Sandusky Speedway Facebook page.
We are giving away a $25 gift certificate to that place. Oh, Rock Auto.
Rock Auto.
Rock Auto.
So you guys tune in tomorrow night, Sandusky Speedway Facebook Live with me and Doug. $25 Rock Auto. I know a lot of you racers. $25, $25.
I think Big D's is
Yeah. Big
It'll be-
D's. Dean Henry.
thank you.
Other than that, just to top off, Doug don't know, but these last 2 years have been a bitch.
I don't know that.
Yeah, well, you know, you didn't know I was going to say this shit, but these last 2 years have been a bitch. We were on here last year at this time, closing out 2020, and, you know, 21 got to be better.
Yeah.
You know, we go into 21 and we've lost more people
Yeah.
than what we'd ever expect, and it just doesn't stop, Doug. And it's, you know, Debbie has a couple people she went to high school, 3 of them, all within the last 2 weeks, passed away, and it just doesn't stop. It keeps going. So, you know, I'm glad to close this year out, 2021. Started off terrible January 3rd last year, Doug. We were in the middle of a show. Sunday night, I believe it was. We're in the middle of this show. And it just snowballed. I mean, our prayers go out to Stevie. He's supposed to be getting out of the hospital tomorrow.
Good.
Who else was there? Someone else? Bob Neubauer
Bob and his wife.
and his wife. We're glad you're out, Bob. Hoping your wife gets out soon. And, you know, anybody else. I mean, I'm sure going to be glad this year's over, and I'll probably celebrate a little bit New Year's Eve, but I'm not leaving my house, Doug.
Me neither.
If you leave, yeah, you might be under quarantine. If you leave and you go out and party, that's great. I hope you have a great time. Just remember, it isn't worth. Take a Uber there. Take an Uber. Best way to do it is take a taxi or Uber to where you're going. That way you can't drive home.
It's true.
Be responsible. You know, it's not just your life; it could be somebody else's. So.
And really,
And trust me.
on New Year's
You
Eve,
do
you don't go that far away, so it's gonna cost you $5, $10,
Yeah.
$15.
Doesn't matter if it costs you $100. DUIs cost you
Right.
$4 to $6 grand anymore. So and then you got to fight it and everything else. So other than that, Happy New Year, everybody. Doug, you got anything else?
No.
Happy New Year. God bless you all. And God bless America. Have a good night.
God bless America. Let's see ya.
Yeah, now we'll get kicked for you singing that song.
Right. All right. See ya.